the back?
Yeah.
Go in the first row. No. You're a guest of honor.
You're a guest of
so
honor.
shy all of a sudden. Keegan. I see Tammy. Yep.
Yeah.
Right? The feature.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell Blessing we're starting. Where are our guests?
What is everyone else?
I saw like a lot of. Everyone was coming.
Okay.
From the clinic.
Maybe someone wants to go up and corral them with the educators.
Just bring them all.
Yeah, bring them all.
Show us one. Music of music. Flight alert.
Alright, everybody, please try and find a seat. 2-3 minutes.
That one isn't. Yeah. Yep.
for it.
That one's for you.
Is your mom coming?
Also, were you mad at
Yeah.
Actually, it's really funny. It's also
your energy? Ours energy? How would you describe our energy? Oh, extra spicy all the time.
Oh,
I
you.
left. I was like,
There's a little X somewhere.
No, but I could put a stick there.
Yeah. Thanks. So Christian's file is too big for him to transfer, so he's just going to reconnect the lessons.
Okay. Perfect.
He's got an HDMI.
Nice one. Okay.
hi, Christian.
Hello.
Yeah, VIPs at the front, please. Yes, you.
Christian's like, I guess I'll head back. I should just put those on the table, but I had to move them because they were off the live stream.
Oh, yeah.
Just make sure.
I haven't looked at the program this morning, so I can at the very beginning.
Program.
Like the CPU.
What's that? Oh, it'll
I know
it'll start out with the storytelling module.
No, I
Abner's
mean,
going to
like when
Oh.
we're giving this.
Okay. At the end.
Okay.
Probably right. Yeah. Makes the most sense.
Is there an email with it?
You guys can fill
Yeah.
it now over there if you want.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Make it look full. Just fill it in.
Maybe I'll start in 1 minute.
Except for my
We don't even have a letter.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of show.
Yeah, it's the style.
Mm.
I put my. Where's Keegan? He's there. Oh, good. Our guest of honor.
So it's going to go to about 4 o'clock of presentations, and then, or no, these are all the presentations.
And then there's Sahara after this as well. And then that's it.
So a series of presentations, and then we welcome it to Is Abner going to introduce me?
Yes.
So I'll just wait for Abner?
We can start.
Oh, okay. Is Abner going to
There he is.
introduce me? Or?
Oh, yeah, Abner. Are you gonna introduce yourself? Okay, good. Let's go.
Game time.
No,
Game
this is
time.
your chair.
Let's go.
Go for it.
Is the live stream on?
In.
Alright, cool.
Back up.
We all have our seats taken? Good. All
You
right.
can use that stick. Yeah.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Term 1 Botswana 2022 Showcase. Let's go! So, as you all know, this has been one heck of a term. There's been some new experiences, new change to life for some of the new students, including me. There is a return for the returning students, especially the grade 11s, a life that they're used to, but they're developing to get to graduation. And this is the beginning of the final chapter for our senior students. But all in all, it's been a wonderful experience. And here at the showcase, we are ready, and we are going to show you what we have done throughout this term. So without further ado, let's get right into it. For our welcoming remarks, we're going to have our lovely principal, Ms. Shelmarsh.
Thank you, Abner. What a nice introduction. So I just wanted to welcome everyone to our showcase, and our first showcase of this year. And a couple of things that I wanted to explain about what Showcase is all about. So Showcase is a chance for us to celebrate all of the work that we have done throughout the term. It's a chance for us to actually show some of our guest speakers, some of the community members that we've been working with, what their efforts have contributed to in our students. And so that's what we're doing with Showcase today. The other thing that we wanted to do with Showcase is allow everybody to take a look at student work that might have been occurring over the past year. And so that way you can ask them questions, and we also invite you to challenge them and just challenge their thinking in any way that you can think of that would make them have a more complete product. And they are ready to answer your questions. They are ready to be challenged and rise to that challenge. So thank you very much for coming today. And without further ado, I will hand over to Abner for the next.
Thank you very much, Shell. So yes, as you've just heard, this is a summary of what Showcase is all about. So before we move into the next part of our showcase, I'd just like to take this time to really thank all the educators, first of all, for just being a part with us, the students, throughout this journey. All the module teachers for guiding us the right ways, for giving us tips and advice to showcase our final product that we have today. So just to give a quick summary, at the end of the showcase, we have the ecology tables, the first two, if I'm correct, this one and that one. If you want, you can take a look just to see which one we're talking about. We have the storytelling modules behind the back two. And yep, refreshments, snacks, juice will be there later on, so please feel free. And yes, so we move, and we're going to start with the storytelling module. And to represent us, the storytelling module, we have Sigurd and Santiago with the storytelling module overview. Come along, boys.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the storytelling module. I'm here with my co-host Santi. My name is Sigurd, and we're very excited for you to share with us today our overview of our storytelling module, and what exactly we did, and our final product.
So to better understand our module, we would like to explain a bit of what we were trying to achieve and what our aim was during this module. So our main goal was to be able to write and perform an oral story based off of Botswana's traditions and cultures and its oral customs. And we did this by going on different experiences, having guest speakers, and just talking to people overall in Botswana and learning more about literary devices, and by using feedback, something my co-host Sigurd will go more in depth.
Now, our process, our final product was supposed to be a story. And so our process, we made on 3 main excursions. Went to a basket weaving location, went to a farm, and we went to a kotla, which, for those of you who don't know, it's a local community here in Botswana.
We also had to use our writing skills, and we all grew as writers to give you all the best possible final product. So some of the skills that we developed throughout this term include, but are not limited to, developing characters and settings to make a more credible, real story, but also narrative structure and overall just making a good plot to go along with those characters. And just the use of literary devices and how our story would actually sound, since we also have to perform it orally. And finally, we got to actually drafting and editing the story based on our feedback. So we all have a great final product to show.
And so, besides these amazing cultural experiences, we also have to thank the people who made said experiences possible. I wish to thank Bonti, who led us initially in a very insightful and very thoughtful and very thought-provoking lecture. I also want to thank the guides and everybody who was at the camp. We got to experience an amazing 7 days, not really 7 days, a week in a camp outside. We got to see all the animals, got to experience storytelling around the campfire, and we also have to tell our storytellers who had a workshop with us.
We would just like to finish with a nice little quote from Nelson Mandela. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And we believe it's very appropriate for this context. We have learned a lot in this past 2 months here. And we're happy to be able to show our progress and our final product here. So, back to Anna then.
Thank you very much, lads. So yes, Sigurd and Santiago gave us a very beautiful summary of what the storytelling module was about. Before we move on, I'd just like to give a shout out to everyone because we are looking good tonight. You agree? I agree. So props to all your designers, which for most of you was yourselves. But yeah, let's get straight into the presentations. As you can see, I've taken off my shirt. It's about to get hot in here. First up, we've got Ring of Fire with my boy David. David, come on up, let's go.
Now, Ring of Fire. Narrowly strode along the dusty path, relishing the feel of cool, scrunching sand burying her feet. She beamed at the sun as it danced and shimmered on the deep blue river, her thickly braided hair fluttering in the wind. Natalie balanced a basket of fresh goods on her head, heading towards her mother's little shop for the day's work. The clouds drifted lazily across the horizon, and heaven smiled. Today was going to be different. She could feel it in the depth of her soul. Ma, Natalie beamed as she lowered her basket to the ground, stooping low to give her mother an affectionate hug. How has your day been? My love, her mother sang. She leaned over and cupped her face, planting a kiss on her forehead. It's the best day of my life because my little angel is by my side again. What else could I ask for? Ma, Natalie screamed, blushing to the tip of her ears. Someone has to help cook the meals, wash the dishes, and look after the store. What type of daughter am I if I can't? Thank you, her mother cut in, brushing her hands across Natalie's rosy cheeks. You don't have to do anything, but you choose to. Someday, when the story of my life ends, you will be one of my most beautiful chapters. And Natalie remained still, too moved to speak. She nodded in affirmation as though she understood, but is any daughter fully capable of comprehending her mother's love? Natalie and her mother bowed their heads together and firmly held hands, savoring the presence of each other. A tsunami of hostile voices and heavy thoughts of marching footsteps grew louder from a distance. Suddenly, a mob of angry villagers surged through the little shop, dragging a thuggish teenage boy along. He was a ghastly sight to behold. A threefold gash ran through the ends of his battered face, so deep there was no doubt they would fade into a permanent scar. The rest of his body wasn't much better. His back was decorated with thick red stripes, the flesh around them breaking and exposing a whiter layer of skin. Darkened blood oozed from his injuries, slowly dripping and painting the ground. An elderly man stepped forward. Mogotsi, your son has brought nothing but shame and disgrace to this community. We found him fighting a younger boy with a sharpened knife pulled out at dawn. God only knows we'd have had a murder case on our hands if we'd come just a few minutes later.
He stole some of my crops yesterday. He cussed and kicked at my poor grandmother.
Stop it! Nadi's mom screamed, pressing both hands over her ears. Deafening silence followed. I'm sorry.
Sorry is not going to bring my crops back.
I know. Nadi's mother heaved, her emotions now under control. I promise that such incidents will never occur again. Miss Lorato, it must not. It cannot. Would have to address it formally to the Kotla, and you know what can happen from then. The elderly man paused, a wind of sympathy brushing his face. We all admire your strength and tenacity. We see you at work. We know how hard your husband's death still hits your family, and we'll do anything to help. But as our great ancestors once said, be the things you love most about the people who are gone. With that, he led the way outside the shop, the other villagers trotting in a straight line like little ducklings behind their mother. When they had all gone, Nadi's mother crumpled to the floor as a falling rose trampled on the ground. Mogotsi, my son, she wailed, sinking her nails deep into her flesh. Is this how you will continue to stain your father's deathbed? She cried. Her face contorted with agony as she bent over and sobbed so violently. In a sudden fit of rage, she turned around and struck her palm against the side of his face. Is this how you want to see me? She screamed. Does this make you feel any better? Mogotsi whimpered, but said nothing.
Thank you very much, David. What a wonderful performance. I don't know about you guys, but it was this close, really close to bringing a tear to my eye. What a way to kick off the performances for the storytelling module. Props to Samara and Kavi for assisting him with the performance. One more round of applause for David, please. Bring up fire. All right, we have another performance ready to go. This time the name of the performance is Magoti's Journey with Diego.
Mogoti has just turned 16 years old. He started helping at the farm, as that was the family tradition. He had tried planting, harvesting, delivering, all of that for several weeks now. One day, he was harvesting the crops, and all the ground started to shake. He knew what that meant immediately. An elephant started coming into the farm. He was excited, but he knew the fate of that elephant as soon as he stepped foot on that farm. Worriedly, he turned back to see where his mom was. He saw her running towards the farm with a rifle to scare the animal. Just as he saw that, he ran towards the elephant and stood in front of him.
Mogotsi, get out of the way!
No, Mom. The elephants are not monsters. You have to trust me.
Please move! You're gonna get hurt! You don't understand what they're capable of!
Mogotsi turned back to see the elephant clearly, just as he realized it had a mole under its left eye. That moment was when he knew that was the elephant he had met when he was younger.
I know this elephant. This is the elephant I've been telling you about since I was young. They cannot hurt us.
Elephants are dangerous. Please, come with me and stay out of the way.
I can show you that we can live in peace with these elephants.
Mogotsi, what are you doing? Please, come back!
Mogotsi went into the woods as her mom cried and cried. No, when will she see her son again? Will he be safe? He wanted to teach her mom and all the time that elephants were not monsters. They were friends. Thank you.
What a performance. Thank you so much, Diego, for that story. Props to Olivia, Drew, and Saf. Great acting. Round of applause one more time. Wow. And a good use of props as well. I mean, that stick almost looked like a rifle. It was scary. All right, so we move on. We have another performance. Two Worlds is the name by Sarah. Come along.
Have you ever heard that quote that life is 10% of what happened to you and 90% of how you respond to it? Well, it took me a lot of time to realize that quote. Until I heard this story, so let me tell you about it. It's the story of a 46-year-old woman called Dineo who lived next to Maun with her 2 children and her dad. Now, if you looked at Dineo from the outside, she looked like a perfectly lucky and happy woman. She had a farm that was 10 times bigger than the farmers of that side. She received several loans from the government, and she had a pretty stable financial situation compared to the farmers there. But if you look a little bit closer into Dineo's life, you realize that she's actually a deeply sad person. Well, if you would have been there, and you would have asked Dineo why she was feeling so sad, she would have probably answered you that it's because of her husband that left her years ago, or it's because of her financial situation that she was actually not very proud of. But the truth is, the real reason why Dineo was feeling so sad is because of nothing but her thought. I know, it was a little bit exaggerated, but let me walk you through the thought of Dineo in one day. First, she wakes up at 6:30 in the morning, and the first thing she thinks is, this alarm is so childish, I want to go back to sleep. Then she goes to prepare the breakfast for her family, and she thinks, why can't I prepare a decent breakfast for my family? I only have corn and some rice. Then she goes to check the crops in her land, and she thinks, why did the sky not rain last season? No, I don't have enough crops to grow. She keeps going about her day, thinking, why is this, why is that? She didn't understand why the world was so against her, but she also didn't understand why her friends in Gaborone had a much better life with a job that didn't require as much effort. But most importantly, what Dineo really didn't understand was her dad. See, Dineo's dad was that kind of person who looked really boring and simple from the outside. He was 73 years old, his wife died about 10 years before, and before he stopped working, he had a really small farm, just enough for him to provide food for his family. But if you look a little bit closer into her dad's life, you'll realize that he's actually a deeply happy person. In fact, he spent most of his time just dancing and singing over songs, and all the simplest things made him so happy. Dineo on her side never understood her dad. She was always thinking, what in the world can make that man happy? Anyways, Dineo and her dad kept going about their life, as usual, until one day, Dineo noticed that her dad was missing on the breakfast table. When she went to check on him, she saw him laying on his bed, still. He was too calm, and she knew something was wrong. She started shaking his shoulder and screaming his name, but he didn't respond. He was gone. Dineo felt so sad at that moment. She laid on his chest and cried for hours. You know how it's only when you do something that you realize it's important? Well, Dineo at that time realized that she missed out on trying to understand her dad. There were so many things she could have learned from his unique personality. Well, while she was crying, she noticed the diary of her dad next to his pillow, and she decided to read it for the first time. While she was flipping through the pages, she realized that her dad was journaling about things like how the wind was blowing in his face and it made him happy, or how he was excited to see how the crops were growing more and more every day. He was journaling about all the simple and random stuff. And at that moment, Dineo felt like she found the key of happiness for her. She decided she's going to start embracing her dad's spirit by looking at simplicity in all the different things in her life. She also realized there is a quality not only in her father, but in a lot of people in Botswana who value simplicity over anything else. The next morning, when Dineo woke up, she decided to enjoy her alarm and start dancing with it. And then, when she went to prepare her breakfast, she was grateful for the corn and rice she had. At least it was better than nothing. Then when she went to check on her crops, she gave a name to each one of her crops because she loved them that much. You see, the event in Dineo's life didn't really change. She was in the same farm, having the same job, and the same morning routine. But what really changed was her perspective towards all of those things. That night, when Dineo came back to her house, She laid on her bed and took her dad's diary. And then she wrote, "What really governs her happiness is not what she sees, but from which angle she looks at."
Thank you very much, Sarah. What a beautiful story. I just love how it was able to take us through all the emotions. Such an emotional roller coaster. So very well written, Sarah. Another round of applause for her. Thank you so much. And now as I see guests arriving, we welcome you to the Botswana 2022 Showcase with CM2. Just to introduce myself to all of you that have arrived. I am your host with the most, Abner Masiu. And welcome. So we have just had a couple of our presentations that you may have missed on, but no need to worry, because we have one more, and it's a very special one that I'm personally looking forward to. Next up, we have Rhiannon with, are you a zebra?
Hello, everybody. I will be presenting a children's story that I wrote. However, I'll be presenting a children's story that I wrote. However, I will only be able to present the second half of the story. So to give you context, our story is about a young girl called Mpo. Mpo was raised by a family of rangers, and one day they decide to take her out and teach her how to become a ranger. However, she has a problem. She doesn't listen. And so one day, her family decides to send her out to go and find a zebra. And now she's going on a whole journey, meeting lots of different animals, trying to find a zebra. So we pick up this story after she's just met a giraffe, and she's off to go and find the hippo. "I will do that," she said, as she climbed down the trees and started towards the river. And as she made her way there, she sang, "What is a zebra? It has 4 knees. It can't climb trees. It eats some leaves. It is not very tall. Does it have a tail? Is it slightly small? Is it faster than a snail?" Eventually, she arrived at the river. It was wide and slow, and the water lazily floating past. She must find an animal with 4 legs, can't climb trees, eats some leaves, and is not very tall. Mpo walked along the riverbed, but none of the animals fit her descriptions. Maybe she could try looking on the other side. She arrived at a part of the river where stones were poking out and going across the whole river to the other side. What a great path for her to take. She hopped onto the first stone. It was quite soft for a stone, very smooth. Strange. She jumped onto the second one. And then all of a sudden the stone moved, 2 eyes poking out of the water, following a great big fat face. "Why are you standing on my back?" boomed a great deep voice. "Oh no, I had no idea. I'm so sorry." "Well, you see, small child, I am nice and I don't eat humans, or any meat in general. However, if you had stepped on anyone else in this river, they would have snapped you up straight away. Not because they're hungry, but because they're mean." "That doesn't sound very nice. Do you think you can help me get to the other side of the river?" Mpo replied. All right." The large creature started to slowly meander through the glossy river. "Do you have 4 legs?" "Yes." "Can you climb trees?" "No." "Do you eat leaves?" "Sometimes." "And you're shorter than a giraffe?" "Of course." "Are you a zebra?" "Zebra? Zebra? Oh no, no. I'm a hippo. I live in the water and eat the grass. I can crush anything with my jaw, and I'm surprisingly fast. I am not a zebra." The hippo bellowed. "This zebra is very good at hiding. I can't find it anywhere. Is there anything you can tell me about zebras to help me find one?" "Well, I suppose one difference is between us that zebras' tails are much longer than mine. I don't like to admit that. I'm very proud of my tail." They had arrived to the other side of the river, and Mpo hopped off the back of the hippo. "Thank you for your help, and for not eating me. You got lucky with me, but never try come close to hippos again. You'll get in lots of trouble." With that, the hippo sank under the water and drifted away. Mpo began her journey along the riverbed again, and with all the things she learned, she began to sing. "What is a zebra? It has 4 knees. It can't climb trees. It sometimes eats leaves. It is not very tall. It has a tail. Is it slightly small? Is it faster than a snail?" It had gone to a time of the day where the sun was starting to sink down into the ground. Mpo was tired. It had been a long day full of questions and worries. Maybe she could lay down for a little. It was hot, oh so hot, and there wasn't any shade that she could find. That's when Po came across a hole in the ground, almost like a little cave. It seemed cool down there, away from the sun. Po got down on the ground and shimmied into the hole. It was soft and cool and dark, perfect place for a rest from the scorching sun. Just as she was about to close her eyes and drift off to sleep, a dark and grating voice echoed through the cave. "Is that meat I smell?" Po jumped up startled. A bright yellow eye was staring at her from the other side of the cave. As her eyes adjusted to the light, she made out the shape of a long, scaly body with 4 short, fat legs, a long, strong tail, and a huge jaw filled with teeth. "Hello, who are you?" Po said, her voice shaking. "Oh, that doesn't matter. What matters is that you're in my den. I don't like people being in my den." The creature snarled. "I'm very sorry. I will leave now." And Po got up and started to shuffle towards the opening of when the creature whipped its tail and blocked the way out. "Oh, don't leave now. You're here. Might as well stay." "Do you know what I am, girl?" Zebra?" "Zebra? Zebra? Oh, how vile! No, 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 I am a crocodile. I have 80 teeth, scales, and claws. I eat meat and swim extremely fast. I am not a zebra," the crocodile hissed. You eat meat?" And Po was terrified now. Eyeing the crocodile's tail, she saw that she could fit over it and through the tunnel. She would have to pick the right time to escape. "Oh yes," the crocodile replied. "All types of meat. I'll eat it at any chance I have. You know what I love about humans? I can eat them." And Po jumped over the tail and raced up the tunnel, out into the open. The crocodile raced after her the whole way, snapping and snarl, mouth dripping with saliva. "Come here, I'm hungry." And Po kept running away from the river, past the trees and bushes, on and on, until a truck came roaring past. "And Po, where have you been?" It was her father and uncle. And Po filled with relief. "Oh, father, oh, uncle, you'll never believe what happened." And Po told them everything as they drove the way home. "And Po, you should have listened, otherwise things like this happen. You get in trouble." "Yes, you're right, uncle, but when I went out there, I paid so much attention, and I learnt so much. I'll make sure to listen from now on," Po exclaimed. As the sun sunk into the ground and the sky turned red, a herd of animals with black and white stripes came galloping across the road. Po looked at the animal. It had 4 legs. It didn't look like it could eat trees. Climb trees. And it looked like it ate leaves. It definitely wasn't taller than a giraffe, and it had a tail. "Father, what is that?" Po asked, pointing at the animal. "That, my dear, is a zebra."
Thank you so much, Rhiannon. What a wonderful story. If only we were, I loved it because it was able to bring us back into our childhood. If only we could have sat on the floor, crisscross applesauce around the campfire. But anyways, thank you so much. Another round of applause for Rhiannon. Excellent story. And that, ladies and gentlemen, wraps up the presentations for storytelling. It was an amazing module. We got to experience so many things, and these are just a few of the amazing stories that were written. So we really hope you enjoyed it. Parents at home, hope you're enjoying the live stream and seeing your children present their work. Yeah, I guess we can move on to the second part of our showcase, which is the ecology part. So to give us a real quick ecology summary on what they've been doing, we have Ari and Isha.
Cool. Hello everyone again. We want to welcome you to our showcase again. My name is Ari. I'm from Belarus.
My name is Isha. I'm from Malaysia, and today we're going to give a brief summary of what we've learned in the ecology module. First off, our driving question, which is, in what ways can the art of storytelling be adapted to communicate across disciplines and for different purposes?
And based on our driving question, the idea of our final product was to create a piece of communication to a non-scientific audience, which is going to represent the data that we were collecting.
So first we learned about anthropology, which is the study of different cultures and how that impacts the society. We had 3 different excursions for anthropology. First was learning about weaving in Maun, and then it was about learning how politics and crime is dealt with in the Kotla, and then it was learning about how agriculture works in Maun and how Tativa was impacted by the human-wildlife conflict.
And next up, we had data collection, and a really important experience of this goal was weeks for week, where we finished waking up every morning at 5 a.m., enjoying our day, then with smiles on our faces, going to different journeys and collecting different data about animals, spore accounting, and all these very, very interesting things.
After we gathered all our data and knowledge from these excursions, we learned to present our data using science communication, trying to translate scientific knowledge into something that everyone can understand. Even though we really enjoyed this module, we had a few challenges. So first was the conflicting views that we had to face. We had to represent conflicting views in a way that was ethical and that everybody can understand.
And the second challenge was communication. It was really interesting experience throughout this module. New community, new students, a lot about communication and how important it is. And also a main focus was made on interviews and how important it was to communicate in a clear way so our questions were understandable and appropriate for the audience. Moving on, important highlights that we've done throughout the module. First one is don't ever use a bug spray in this community, please, without letting me know, because it might be the last moment of me watching you using it.
Do not put limbs outside of game drive vehicles, especially your face, and never run when you see a hyena.
Yeah, and in addition to that, we learned a lot about appreciation of unique, interesting, and allable diversity of Botswana, both in cultural and environmental ways. And today we just want to take a minute to share our appreciation and say thank you to those people who have been leading us throughout module experience.
Thank you to Christian and Zeddy for sharing your expertise on ecology and wildlife in general. That was very enlightening. And thank you for Johan and Isco Camp for wonderful meals and the lovely campsite. Thank you in special for Katie for leading us through the interviews with villagers, and thank you for translating the language to us. Thank you, and thank you so much to Kenzie, Alara, and Chris for working with us in this amazing module. We are looking forward to working with you guys again.
Well, thank you, Isha and Ari. Excuse me, I was just enjoying some of the books and I was being passed around. But yes, that was the ecology module with Isha and Ari. So if you would like to see some of the ecology projects that they have been doing, we have the showcase tables over here. You can take a look, send me websites, videos, channels, social media, whatever your source of communication was. You can take a look at it at these tables over here. So yes, that was ecology, and now we shall move on to our mastery projects. So first up, we have our international political philosophy mastery proposal with my girl Lisa.
Thank you so much, Abner. So hi, my name is Luisa, and I'm from Brazil. And I'm here to talk about the type of project that returning students spend a lot of time working on this term, which are mastery projects. So, for those who don't know, here in TGS, we use this thing called Bloom's taxonomy to categorize our learning and our assessment. As you can see, the most basic level is novice, which is we do usually in traditional schools, so remembering things and understanding them. But here in TGS, we're always trying to push for specialists, which means applying, analyzing, and evaluating. And in our mastery projects, we push it even further to try to create something new or to teach something. And it's a year-long project the students can do to explore the passions they have. So the driving question for my mastery project is,
how can I facilitate an interactive way of learning about international relations and political philosophy for high school students in Latin America? So basically, during this project, I'll be creating a course to teach high school students in Latin America about geopolitics, international relations, and political philosophy. And I will do so by also incorporating some aspects of project-based learning that I believe that will help to make their learning experience better. And a bit of why I'm doing this. First of all, I think politics is in everything. And I think it's very important if we want to promote structural change. Not saying we need politics to promote change, but if you're trying to make it structural, it's undeniably important. I've also recently been interested more in global politics and studying how countries interact with each other, and also looking at government from a philosophical perspective. And lastly, one of the main reasons that made me come to TGS is the change-making aspect. So I wanted to incorporate that in my mastery project and have a positive impact in my community back home. So based on that, my mission for this project is to inspire and educate teens on global politics through a reflective and interactive learning process. And my vision is to help to form a Latin America where teens are aware of the international political scenario and with a passion for global political change. And some of my previous experiences that will be helpful during this project. So first of all, I did a multilateral diplomacy personal project, and I took a course with the United Nations Institute for Research and research. I also did a personal project in Mexico about leftism through zines, and that gave me an introduction in political philosophy, political theory, and also in contemporary social issues. And my service learning, which is another long-term project we do here at TGS, is about teaching politics through games, and that has allowed me to learn about political science and curriculum development. And lastly, I also have some experiences prior to coming to TGS. So I used to teach English voluntarily. I was also the outreach coordinator for an organization. I also was a part of the Latin American Leadership Academy, and I participated in Harvard's International Relations Scholars Program. So all of this will be helpful for me when carrying out my mastery project. And my three main learning goals is to learn more about geopolitics. So especially in the context of Latin America and how this has influenced the region. I'm also going to be looking at political philosophy, especially in the international relations and geopolitical context. And I want to learn more about instructional design. So learning about teaching techniques and different approaches, and creating a curriculum for my course. And then the 4 stages for my project. Stage 1 is about knowledge acquisition, so knowledge related to geopolitics, international relations, and political philosophy. Then it's about the curriculum development and learning about instructional design to do that. And then stages 3 and 4, I'm not sure yet exactly what will happen, because this is another thing about mastery projects, that we don't start knowing all of the answers. So I'll figure them out more throughout the project, but for stage 3 is the course implementation. So creating a course either on a personal website or using an existing platform. And then stage 4 is the outreach part. So promoting my course, reaching out to stakeholders, and helping people to learn. And that is it. If you want to connect to me on LinkedIn, this is my QR code. And that's it. Thank you for the attention.
Thank you so much, Louisa. A wonderful project that she has there. Give another round of applause. That was excellent. Thank you so much. And before we move on to more presentations, I'd just like to take this time to really thank the staff that has been accommodating us these past couple of weeks. And they've done a good job not only this afternoon, but throughout the whole experience that we've been here. So if we could really give a round of applause for appreciation for the CDS staff. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, now we can move on. Next up, we have designing a smart home with, some of you know him as Jibril. You will later on know him as DJ G, my boy Gabriel.
Thank you, Abner. Good afternoon to everyone. My name is Gabriel. I am from Ecuador, South America, and this is my project, designing a smart house for elderly and dependent individuals. So my driving question of my project is how can virtual assistant technologies be utilized to design a safe, smart home for the elderly and dependent individuals. What's the current issue? Is dependent individuals, as its name says, they need the constant help of someone else. Due to certain conditions, due to age or other factors, they need assistance of another human being. The idea of the project is not replacing the help that someone else can give it to the dependent individual, but also the virtual assistant technologies can be an assistant for these people, for the dependent individuals, and also for the people who are taking care of them. So what I want to gain with this project is to design a concept house, a general idea of a house that could be implemented, modified, depending on the necessities of the dependent individuals. Also, I want to find a creative solution to an underexplored problem, how we can help to dependent individuals to make their life easier, how we can help the people who are taking care of this group to make their life easier with technology, of course. I want to use real-life experience to explore the issue. I want to see this problem directly, testing some virtual assistant technologies with elderly people close in my family, and to test and to see what is working, what is necessary for the people, and I can expand it to create this concept house. And also want to practice more designing skills and architectural skills, which is one of my passions, and is something that I want to continue working on during my TGS journey and after it. But why I want to make this project is because these two wonderful people here, which are my grandparents, Ruth and Boris, are my inspiration for my project. Since we got my grandma and Alexa, she's been fascinated with it. She's also using for a main of entertainment, but also she can ask simple things like time or the weather, things that she can really see or watch anymore, or read the news in the newspaper. Alexa, which is a virtual assistant technology from Amazon, has been helping her to know about these basic things of their daily life that she do not do anymore through certain complications. But when I see this, I say this has a bigger potential, because these virtual assistant technologies are not only for entertainment or just to pass the time. You can do routines with it. You can connect it with other devices that it can be helpful for her, can be helpful for my grandparent as well, and for the people who's taking care of them. So yeah, this also comes with a combination of interest of making a change with futuristic ideas. The idea of a smart home, I feel it is not really far in the future, is now and today, and I want to apply it to a certain specific group. This also I want to make a short-term impact, a change in the short term with my family, but also a long-term solution to people that are in the same conditions. So my products will be a virtual smart house module, which will be fully detailed with all the devices used after I test them with my grandparents. Will be detailed even also in the part of the architectural design of the house, and then a physical model which will be exposed to show the designing abilities and architectural skills that I want to gain during the project. This is the plan to access my work. It will be divided in two parts. One part in working with the virtual assistant technologies, testing them which software or devices are good and fit for the elderly and or dependent individuals, and also exploring designs and techniques for creating an architectural design and the creation of the house. Yeah, thank you very much.
you very much, Gabrielle. Really innovative project with a good purpose behind it as well. So that's super cool. Alrighty now, we have one more mastery presentation. This is a really cool one as well, one I'm looking forward to. It is Rock, History, and Electric Guitar with Sahar.
Disclaimer, this is not mastery, this is a personal project. It's okay. So, hello, I'm Sahar, I'm from Turkey, and today I'm going to walk you through my project that I did back in Turkey but finished up in Botswana. So my driving question was that how can I build my sense of connection to rock music culture by learning to play the electric guitar? And throughout that I investigated the rock history, the bands that I used to listen so much, I learned more about them. I also looked at basics of playing the electric guitar to be able to play Song 2 by Blur at the end in the simplest way possible. And one thing that was really interesting for me throughout my investigation was how rock songs can create social change, especially protest songs like, for example, Monkey Gone to Heaven by Pixies was about destruction of the ozone layer and the oncoming environmental apocalypse, which brought awareness to climate crisis. I learned about how powerful it could be, which I didn't know before, and how they could even stir chaos in political environments. Another thing that I did was look at three concepts and how they, concepts of anarchism, feminism, and nihilism, and how they work in rock culture. And my goal was to create a zine from one of these concepts. And the concept that I picked was anarchism. And anarchism is a political movement that opposes all forms of imposed hierarchies. For example, anarchism says that the government is destructive and unnecessary. It also states that people's behavior should never be forced by others. And with that, I investigated its development and, for example, and I looked at a few songs that actually included that concept. And through that, I created a zine, which you're seeing the top half right now, and this is the bottom half, and you're welcome to see the full thing in the booth later. And in terms of the electric guitar playing part, I had 4 equipments that I purchased throughout to be able to complete that. I have an electric guitar, of course, an amplifier, a mini one as I'm a beginner, guitar pick, and instrument cable which connects the electric guitar and the amplifier. And as someone who doesn't know how to play the guitar at all, so I looked at the basics of how to play the guitar, and one of them was guitar strings, and strangely enough, you code them with, it has codes, and one of them was elephant and donkeys grow big ears, and even though I did this back in Turkey, this is very contextually Botswana. And I also looked at how to set up an amplifier for clean or distorted sounds, which is really interesting. I looked at names of the frets, which was a little harder to figure out, but I think I'm there. I looked at 1-string chords, power chords, and I looked at power chords itself. And another interesting thing that I learned here was that only 2 notes, which is a power chord bass, makes up most of the heaviest chords in rock music, and they just use the same shape and move it around the fret, and it just brings memorable riffs. And yeah, Song 2 by Blur was my end goal, and to do that, I made a simplified version of a guitar tab, which in the way that I could understand, and I got help from my cousin, who was my guitar teacher, like throughout this. And it was one of the most interesting and projects that I ever did. I really loved it, and I learned a lot, and I got to explore something that's interesting to me. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sahara. That was a brilliant performance. I really enjoyed it, especially because, as a musician myself, a musical person, that was really cool to find out how the history of music and what music can do to society. And definitely be sure to teach me a bit of guitar as well when you have the time. All right, so I think that is our last mastery project proposal. And now we're going to move on to our TGS thank yous. Before we do that, I'd like to give a couple thank yous myself. Just for coordinating this showcase, I'd like to give a big shout out to Rachel. She's been all over the place. All over the place making sure this happens, and we're really grateful to you, Rachel. Thank you. Big shout out to Shell as well for guiding us throughout this whole year. Being our principal. Big up to our module educators, Andy, Adam, Sophie. I'm gonna raise your hand so we can all. Chris, Alara, who couldn't be here because of COVID, Kenzie, and Matt as well. All the educators that have been with us this year, we really appreciate it. This is an amazing term, and we're all looking forward to the next one. All right, so we can move on to the TGS thank yous, and I will hand it over now to Shell to give us a brief overview.
Thank you, Abner, and I wanted to thank Abner also for stepping into the role of MC and doing such an amazing job. Woo! Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about how TGS works, because TGS does not work without the people that interact with us, which gives meaning to the learning of the students. And you've heard today from the declarations that people have had for our students. And so that's why it's extremely important for us that we travel to be interacting with these people, because it informs our learning. So we have a gratitude for everyone who has been helpful for us this term. And I'm going to call you up and give you a card. And so if your name is called, please come up and accept. Can I get, thank you. Can you just grab those? So, yeah, we'll start out with this one. So we have someone that has been working with us on the logistical side and also welcoming us and providing for us. And Blessing, thank you very much. And it's not just Blessing, but your whole team. And you can see quite a few of them right here. And there. So I just wanted to thank you very much. It's been such a pleasure to be here, and you have made us feel very welcomed and looked after. So thank you so much. Okay, so not in any particular order. I'm just going to call out people to come on up if you're here. If you're not here, then I will just put on the side. But one person that has been with us for quite a number of years, in fact, since the first time that we have been to Botswana, and is Bonti. And Bonti has been working with us to develop our oral storytelling techniques, and also to understand what it is to be a person living and sharing with us culture to inform us. Unfortunately, she is not here, I don't think. And so, anyways, we wanted to thank Bonti. So thank you. Okay, so I know we've called up Blessing to give a thanks to Blessing, and also I forgot to mention congratulations. He's a new dad to a wonderful son. We also have, if you could come up on behalf of your staff, we have a thank you for your staff. So the staff of CD Lodge, let's have everyone come up. Thank you very much. One of those long-term TGS helpers and supporters, and she has done so many things that facilitate our time here at in Botswana, in Maun. So thank you so much, Tammy, for everything. And when I say everything, I mean organizing and inspiring us to take a flying trip over the Okavango Delta, to speaking to our students about perspectives and how to be thinking about life in general, and then also so much behind the scenes. So thank you very much, Tammy. So Tammy, if you could just hold up for a second. We have another thank you. Tammy, many talented personality, and she is actually a pilot, and she inspired us. Well, actually, I think she just basically pulled me into this by suggesting the idea that we should have this flight over the Okavango Delta, and it was such a memorable experience for all of our students. So thank you very much, and to the Okavango Delta Air Rescue. So I just love being in the limelight. Come on, thank you very much. You're representing all of those guides and the experiences that we've had, so thank you. Thank you once again. Another person that we would like to call up is Chipo. So Chipo has been really helpful for us this term in organizing our cultural experiences. You heard earlier today that we visited a Kotla, and then we had some other experiences that she was very key in facilitating and also organizing. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And there have been so many others that have supported us in our experience. It's unfortunate, but we did have to take a few trips to the Okavango Delta Air Rescue Clinic. And so we just want to thank the staff for hosting us there, looking after our health. There have also been a number of, I guess you could say, haunts that we have been going to. One is the Dust Donkey, and also the Duck Cafe. And so we wanted to thank those people and anybody that has been, that is in the audience that came. We are certainly glad that you came to see us. Abner, do we have anything else?
Thank you very much, Cheryl. Yes, so as you mentioned, gratitude to everyone that has basically helped us with this term. It has been an amazing term, and it couldn't have been done without you. From the taxi drivers as well that were taking us to and from the places. Thank you so much to Bisco, to Monty, if he is. Thank you. We really appreciate you guys. This has been an amazing experience. Also, a really special shout out, and I mean, like, this is a very important one. Shout out to Obomi and and his brother for basically being the source of joy for us. They've been amazing, amazing kids. If you could bring them up, actually. Let them come say hi. If you could come on stage. So I think his brother is on the playground somewhere. But yes, really funny, and they've been really just encouraging us, because it does get stressful. So being able to see these guys just really warming, and we thank you guys so much. Wow. That's adorable. All right. So I think that does wrap up the showcase for today. It has been a wonderful experience, wonderful afternoon. Thank you everyone for being here. Parents at home, thank you for watching. And all right. Just to summarize real quick, the booths are available to take a look at. So please, when you do have some time, this right now is a good time as well. So do take time to look at the booths, all the projects that everyone has been working on, because we really did spend a lot of time on this, and it would be really cool if we were all able to see each other's projects and experiences. So thank you once again to everyone. Shout out to my TGS students. We did it. We made it.
Thank you, Abner. Sorry, before you get up and start moving around, we do have some very special certificates that we're going to be presenting to some of our students that have been outstanding. They have done some outstanding work and accomplishments. And so we have Christiane, who is going to present those certificates to our students. And while he's just setting up, I also wanted to invite anybody. We've been sitting here a little bit long, and we have some amazing refreshments. And so as soon as we finish with the certificates, we invite you also to partake in that.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the last bit of serious business that we need to do. I actually wanted to... Okay, I'm going to... wanted to talk a little bit about all the ecological possibilities and conservation work. Key questions like, how do animals without fingers live out in the bush? They have some problems. But more importantly is the next International Poop Spitting Council AGM that we're quickly having. Last year we couldn't because of COVID. We did have the competition, but no AGM. This year we can do the AGM. And sport provides a good opportunity for role models. It is a good role model leads by example. And people follow role models. But you have to pick your role models carefully. And this year we had a very small but very elite little group from the educator level that provided role models. Wisely, otherwise it might leave a bad taste. Okay. Or be prepared.
Yeah.
So how is it done? You pick a piece, you put it in your mouth, you launch it, and you hope it will fly. Don't lose aim as you go along, and be inspired to do the impossible. And to do it with enthusiasm. Some have style. Right, this brings us to the certificates, and we have a few special categories. First of all, the rowdiest spectators that we had. The best sunglasses on tour. The best hair flip for males and for females. We have one multiple participant that's been in her second tournament. For dedication, Max. And for the final, the winners in third place, Alara. Second place, Max. And in first place from Zambia, Drew. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christian. That was the most competitive competition we've played this year. Trust me, community PE didn't even come close to this. It was amazing. That does bring a wrap to our showcase now, officially. That just brings an end to the presentations of the showcase. The showcase is still continuing because we have to, as you know, take a look at all the presentations around. So please feel free. Refreshments are over there. It would be an offense to leave any of that food hanging. If you can't eat it, I will. So don't worry about it.
No, don't worry, Ollie.
Yes, we got you. Yeah, we got you guys. So refreshments are there. The presentations are around for everyone to see and to witness. And thank you all for being here. This wouldn't have happened without you. A round of applause to an amazing showcase. And let's keep CM2 great. Am I right?
You know the philosophy.
Thank you so much, sir.
I'm sorry, I should have